May I know who is sharing the screen, Samyukta or Christiba?
I'm only sharing, sir.
Okay. So when father starts sharing, you can stop sharing, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Father, are you coming in?
I am in already.
Please share your screen, Father.
I will share.
Okay. Fine. Slideshow move. Slideshow mode, Father. Oh, yes, fine. Yeah. Father, could you move the next slide? Move to the next slide. Okay, all right. Father, we are going to admit the participants, okay?
Sir, is it audible?
No. Samyukta. Yeah, Father is going to speak. Father, shall we check your audio? Father, can you hear me? Shall we check your audio, Father?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, okay, yes, yeah, fine, yeah. So, Father is ready, right? Father, can you hear me? Mohan sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. All right, now we can admit the participants. Krishiba, you can start.
Okay.
Yeah, sound full.
Good evening, dear participants. We welcome you all to the second day of our certificate course program. Kindly enter your course ID number followed by your name. Dear participants, kindly enter your course ID number followed by your name.
அதுல அம்மா பேர் அப்படிதான் இருக்கு.
As soon as you enter, kindly mute yourself. Good evening, dear participants. Kindly enter your course ID number followed by your name in the chat box.
Shiva,
Yes, Father.
can you hear me?
Yes, Father, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, participants.
Shiva, can you hear the music? Can you hear the music? No.
No, sir.
Oh, can you hear the music?
No, sir.
Oh, you cannot hear the music. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Okay, you can go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to the second day of our certificate course program. Kindly enter your course ID number followed by your name in the chat box.
Good evening, Father. Could you adjust your seat, Father? Yeah, fine, fine. Yeah.
Can we start or?
Yeah. No, wait, hold on, hold on. Not a time. Yeah. So good evening, participants. I request all the participants to come on your videos for screenshots, because all the participants, please come on your videos for screenshots. We will take few frames of screenshots. All the participants, please. Technician, Mr. Mohan, we are ready.
We can start?
Hold on, for. We are taking
Okay.
screenshots here. Mohan Raj?
Please start it, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Mohan, yes, you can take the frames
Yes,
of
sir.
screenshots. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Participants, all of you, come on the video, please. So you can give a smile. Are you done, Mohan? Mr. Mohan?
Sir, yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay. Welcome, Father.
Thank you.
It's your time now.
So welcome to the second day. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes.
Can you all hear
Father.
me?
Yes, we can do.
Okay. Yesterday we talked about what is counseling, what is not counseling, counselor as a person, counselor as a professional. Today we will continue, in the same line, what a counselor must have, including counselor's values. And yesterday somebody asked me to talk about what will be the challenges for the people who are budding counselors, initially what they go through, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I will today focus more on self-awareness, how to understand ourselves so that we know who we are, so that we can also do good counseling to other people. So in this slide, I am telling you, counselor must grow in self-awareness. There is no end to this particular work. It's a lifetime task. We can never be sure that we know everything about ourselves. We have to grow in self-awareness until we die. This will require a lot of reflection on various things. I will talk to you about, the things that we should focus on after a while. But please understand, there is no stopping of this particular wonderful, necessary work. This will reward us with more knowledge about ourselves. We'll be happy if we know, but we need to spend a lot of time. Okay? So, next one, counselor must grow in mindfulness. In positive psychology and Buddhist spirituality, people talk about mindfulness. We need to be aware of what is happening both externally and internally. This is also a good practice, difficult but necessary, and we can never say that we are mindful enough. A counselor must also have a good self-esteem. Self-esteem is not because of any work we are doing, not because of any achievement, not because of wealth, power, or authority, simply because we are what we are. As human beings, as God's children, as people who have been loved by parents or others, even if there is one single person who loves us, we can have good self-esteem. Also, our work must give us some good self-esteem. Okay, we will focus if there is any question. Counselor must be also good at meta-analysis of all the psychological mechanisms. I will tell you briefly what are psychological mechanisms. Okay, Meta-analysis, not only we know about certain aspects of self, but also we need to know how we are looking at our own self. Okay. I told you I will talk about psychological mechanisms. This is my own term. How do we understand all that is part of us, all that is within us? One, we need to understand our perception. Perception is the basic to understand ourselves. Who are we? How do we look at ourselves? The way I look at four things are important. How do I look at myself? Am I good looking? Am I intelligent? Is my body okay? Is my mind okay? We perceive self. We also perceive other people. How do we perceive others? Are they helpful, friendly, or are they inimical to us? Are they dangerous to move with? So, how do we perceive self, others? Then, how do we perceive the world? Am I looking at the world as a dangerous place, or the world makes me helpless or hopeless, or the world is coming along with me, supporting me? World will include everything except self and others. My work, my workplace, my family, surrounding, various other things will come under world. Then, how do I perceive God? This is connected with spirituality. I am not talking about purely only religion, but beyond that. How do you feel? Are you connected with a higher being? Do you feel that God is there to support you? God is helpful to you. So, perception of self, others, world, and God are very important. This is very basic because this will also influence our counseling. Suppose I feel that I am not good enough as a person or as a professional, my counseling will be affected. Okay. If I feel superior, that I know better, the clients are stupid, the clients are problematic, they don't know anything, then once again my counseling will affect my perception of self, and others will affect my counseling. Suppose I feel inferior to the one who is coming for counseling, or I look up to that person so high that I am not able to function well. So all these will be connected with perception. Then what are my beliefs? We have beliefs behind anything that we do. We may not be aware of all the beliefs that we hold, but if we analyze, if we take time to analyze, we will know some of the beliefs. Some beliefs may be also rooted in our subconscious or unconscious. But if we do the analysis, you will find why I do this. If I like someone, I have a belief maybe he is a good person or she is a good person, or that person is helpful, or that person is loving, or maybe, I will get something. What are my beliefs? So throughout the day, from early morning until we go to sleep, we do many things. Behind anything and everything, we have a number of beliefs. If we understand all the beliefs behind a particular action, then it will be very helpful for us as a person and as a professional, as a counselor. Because we do many things even in counseling. Why do I do this? Let us say I choose a theory. I have some belief this theory is useful for this particular client, for this particular problem. I use a technique. Then I realize, or I tell myself, this technique will help this person with this problem. I do not want to meet somebody. Again, I have some beliefs about why I don't want to meet that person, including food, dress, the way we carry ourselves about in the world. All these will have some beliefs or other. Am I analyzing or am I aware of all my beliefs. That is important. What are my assumptions? We operate always on assumptions. We assume. We assume that you are all listening. I assume that you are all listening to me. I assume that you are all good persons. I assume that today is this particular day. So we have assumptions about things, about people, about ourselves, about the future, a number of other things. We must know. When we meet in counseling, what are our assumptions about our own counseling? What are our assumptions about the client, our clients? What are our assumptions about the impact of our counseling? Or the result of counseling, the outcome of counseling? All that will be part of our assumptions. Thoughts. We always have thoughts. Whenever our mind is awake, whenever we are okay, we have some thoughts. We may not be aware of all the thoughts that come to our minds, but we are having thoughts. Sometimes there are fleeting thoughts. Thoughts will come and go. Certain thoughts will dominate our mind. Some thoughts will require our attention. Some thoughts, will require some action. So, what are my thoughts? Are they positive or negative? Are they positive about me? Are they positive towards other people? Or am I getting disturbing thoughts? Am I having pleasant thoughts about this evening? So, what are my thoughts that are running in my mind? If I analyze, will I be happy about my thoughts, including counseling session? We have feelings and emotions. Quite a few people get confused about, what is the difference between feeling and emotion. Emotion is the bodily reaction. It may be suddenly we realize something is happening to my body. That will be emotion. Then looking at the bodily reaction, my mind interprets what is happening to my body. That will be feeling. Sometimes we even give a name to what is happening. Say, oh, I am afraid. I am getting angry. Then, once the mind interprets and decides this is what is happening, again the body will start reacting according to the mind and also according to the environment or what the triggers had been. So, if I am afraid of something, my body will start reacting, hormones will kick in, I can sense what is happening to my body. Then my mind will say, yes, there is a reason for fear. So take some action. Then my body and mind will get ready either for flight or fight, or, if the mind and body are not willing to cooperate, if they are not ready yet, then we may freeze. Okay. So fight or flight may be useful. Sometimes freezing will not be useful, will not be helpful to us. So emotions are the bodily reactions when there is a trigger in the environment. Then my mind thinks about it. What is happening to my body? Then it interprets. Then we are getting ready to act. Okay. Sometimes we take the right action, sometimes we don't take the right action. That is depending on our knowledge, experience. Mainly our prior experience will help us to deal with the current situation. So we must know our feelings and emotions. We must also do something. Okay. We also have some action, behavior. Behavior can be many things. I shake hands with somebody. I write something. I get up and go. I go and drink. I do certain things. I use my computer for typing. So my typing is a behavior. I am not talking to someone. That is also behavior. So behavior also should be analyzed, and we need to find out why we do this. What is the rationale behind it? What is your attitude? Attitude we cannot easily understand. We check for the behavior and communication to understand someone's attitude. He has a good attitude towards working in our company, people say. The HR manager may say, he has a good attitude. How did he find out? From the facial expression, body language, communication through words, and also behavior, how he behaves. Only through that, he will somehow guess the attitude of the person. Is he energetic? Will he be committed? Will he be part of us happily? All these we will find out. So we normally make a guess at the attitude of other people. We should also know our own attitude towards counseling. If I am doing counseling, what is my attitude today's client? How do I look at him? How do I perceive him or her? Do I have a negative attitude towards that person? Do I have a negative attitude towards counseling itself? Okay. Another psychological mechanism I want to talk about is attribution style. Whenever something happens, our mind wants to know who or what is the cause. Suppose there is a sudden noise. My mind would like to know, why is there noise? Who caused it? Or what made the door bang and make a big noise? So I want to understand what is the cause or who is the cause for something or other. We attribute in various ways, 4 different ways. One, I attribute to the core characteristics of that particular person. Let us say somebody passes by my door and I realize that he pushed the door and closed it. So he has a bad intention or he doesn't want to see me. He's a bad person. So I attribute to the core characteristics of that particular person. Or I might say, no, he did not do it. Probably he wants to help me by closing the door because I am talking into the mic. So probably he wants to help me. Or, he was very helpful because, if I keep the door open, mosquitoes will come in. Some reason we attribute. So either the surroundings of that particular person or the core characteristics of that particular person. Or sometimes I would say, this evening, today, the temperature, that is not good for me. That is why I behave like this. Or I may attribute to my own core characteristics of my personality. See, wherever I go, people hate me. Whatever I do, doesn't come out well. If I have a negative attribution style towards me, then I'll feel depressed. In counseling also, we need to understand the attribution style of our clients. How do they attribute whenever something happens? I remember one client had come with his wife. I asked them to introduce themselves. After they introduced, I said, can you tell me what your problems are? Immediately, the husband pointed his finger, the thumb, towards his wife next to him and then said, problem? Yeah, this is the problem. So he said, my wife is the problem. He attributed all his sufferings, all his problems to his wife. But wife had different attribution style. Okay. So whenever we meet people, whenever we want to analyze something, we want to understand what is the cause for something happening. Why are you drinking? Why are you depressed? The people, whom we are asking will give us some attribution. I attribute my drinking to, I am not happy. My marriage is a failure. My friend doesn't talk to me properly. Okay, some reason they would give, that is also attribution style. So we need to understand not only about our psychological mechanisms, we need to understand also the client's psychological mechanisms. I am, listing one by one. Another important psychological mechanism is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a belief about my capability, my capacity. Can I do this? Can I complete this work? Suppose, I want to learn cooking. In the beginning, what is my self-efficacy belief? Do I really believe that I am capable of cooking? Am I capable of driving a motorcycle? Am I capable of, playing basketball? So we have many beliefs about our own capacity. Am I capable of doing this? Suppose a counselor has low self-efficacy. That means the counselor believes that he or she may not be able to do counseling effectively or efficiently. That person's self-efficacy is very low. Self-efficacy need not be based on truth or facts or reality. Some people believe that they are capable of doing more than they can actually do. If you ask a person with serious mental illness, like people suffering from schizophrenia, they would say that they can do anything and everything. A person with bipolar disorder who is experiencing mania, he will say, oh, I can jump from the 5th floor of the building. Or I will pay back all the debts. So people may have, self-efficacy beliefs, but we need to also check whether they are realistic, whether they are based on facts or only their imagination. We also have expectations. Why these? Now I'm talking about a number of psychological mechanisms. All these will be connected with the counselor, also the client. What are the counselor's expectations before and during the counseling? After the counseling is over, what are the expectations of the counselor about the counseling or the client? In the same way, client will have some expectations. Some clients will come and tell you, I want you to use this particular therapy. People who are well versed in psychological theories may say, I do not like psychodynamic theories or therapy. Please help me with person-centered therapy. Or I want you to use rational emotive behavior therapy. So people can come and tell you their expectations. So what are our expectations? Often we don't analyze all these psychological mechanisms. We also have needs. I told you yesterday that we have many needs. We are busy with 4 basic needs, that is physiological, safety, security, social and belonging needs, and also we are concerned about esteem needs. But we have needs higher than those. I mentioned yesterday that we have higher needs like self-actualization, artistic, needs, various other needs we have in between. So am I doing counseling based on my personal need of fame or making money or showing off my knowledge? Why do I have this need to do something? So we must be aware of our needs. We also have many roles. Yesterday somebody asked me, so I mentioned the roles. We have many roles. Every individual will have many roles. We have responsibilities for all these roles. Sometimes certain roles will be dominant. Certain roles will take a backbench. So which role is pushing me to work hard? Even in counseling, what role do I take? Okay. Like, for example, am I a teacher in my counseling session? Sometimes, we become educators during psychoeducation. So what are my roles outside as a person in my personal life, and also, in the counseling session, what roles do I take? Do I take many roles? All those roles will be defined by the nature and the quality of counseling that I do. And the client also will demand that I take up certain roles. What are my desires? Connected with expectations, we have some desires, but sometimes we know I desire, but I don't think this will happen. Sometimes, we have dreams more than desires, maybe even in the subconscious level, or while sleeping or while I am awake, we may have dreams. We have imagination, we are aware of our imaginations often, fantasies we have. So what are they? Are they realistic? Are they positive? Do I have any hope that these things will be done in life? We also have many rules. Rules for us individuals, rules for other people, rules in our family with which we grew up, rules in the institution that we are studying, or rules in a company that I am working in. All these will guide me. All these will either restrict me or direct me. Certain rules are called overt rules. Overt means, well known, open. They are known rules. Sometimes certain rules are covert rules. We may have these in our mind. We may follow certain activities. We may follow certain behavior. If I analyze my behavior, then I will realize, oh, I follow this particular rule, which is not mentioned anywhere as a rule. That will be covert rules. Certain rules are not taken seriously. Certain rules are very important to us. We will not break certain rules, but we will casually consider certain rules. So we must understand what rules motivate me. The clients also have rules. What is the rule they follow? Do they have overt rules or covert rules? Do they have a kind of a, easily breakable rules, or do they have rigid rules? We need to understand what rules. Many people develop problems because their rules are very rigid. Some people, may have problems because they have no rules at all in their life. No structure, no guidelines, no systematic planning. So they may not have certain rules. We also develop habits, not only behavior, but certain habits are developed so that life becomes easy. There can be both good habits and bad habits. Habits that ruin our life, habits that motivate us and do great things or achieve things. So, what are my habits? We may not even recognize certain things as habits, but we do. Like, for example, one client came, he was shaking his fingers almost every minute. He will shake violently. If I ask him, why are you shaking? Oh, did I shake? I didn't realize. There are people who will touch the walls and then walk. They will keep on touching for every other step. They will touch on the right side or on the left side. People will have, certain habits which are, injurious to their well-being. So what habits have you developed? What rules? All these will be interconnected, but habits we need to know because they will take a lot of time. These days, students develop habits of watching social media. They spend hours together. They don't even realize the time. So, what habits motivate us? What habits are part of the client's lifestyle? We also have values. Okay. There are values that are universal values, personal values, professional values, and so on. We have already seen a few values of a counselor by understanding what is required to be a good, effective, and efficient counselor. What values motivate us? These are choices, there are choices made based on our values. If I value punctuality, we start on time. If I value friendship, I may not give importance to the class. I'll be talking with my neighbor even in class. So, what is important? What motivates me? What guides me to choose? What guides me to act? These, will give us some idea about values. Values, sometimes we only talk about them. Sometimes we do occasionally. Certain values are built into our lives or built into our personality. Suppose somebody tells the truth once in a while, it is not his personal value. Sometimes, people tell the truth because of fear that they are already caught. Many criminals will acknowledge that they have done simply because the police have arrested them. That is not a good value. So we have good values, we also have disvalues. For that particular person, a value may be important, but because of his value, others may suffer. He may harm people. He may not treat other people with respect. Like, for example, if a husband expects neatness in the house, and if the wife is busy with other things without cleaning up, he may get angry. He may physically even harm her because his value of cleanliness is more important than the value attached to relationship. So, what are my personal values? What values are very important to me right now? In counseling, what values are important? Even we will talk about the ethical values and ethical principles later, maybe tomorrow. Those ethics are based on values as well, because we want to do something good for the patients or the clients. We are basing things on values. Rules also must be connected with the values. If you have a rule, why do you have this rule? If you analyze, then you will find your value. Why are they insisting that people should do this assignment? What is the value behind? So values are very, very important. We will continue with the psychological mechanisms. Personality traits. All the students who have studied psychology or counseling would know that there are many personality traits based on the theory that you are looking at. Whether it is Raymond Cattell 16 PF or the big five. We talk about 5 personality traits which are very important. Of course, each one has many subdivisions. The major ones, you can remember with an acronym OCEAN. OCEAN, ocean, openness to experience. So whether people are ready to explore, are they adventurous, do they want to try out something new? Maybe they are more extroverted people. They also will be open to experience. There are people who are introverted who can also be open to experience in their mind. They want to read something new. They want to understand what other people are talking about. So openness to experience in many areas. Then another trait is conscientiousness. Are we faithful to our duty? Or are we doing it out of fear or in order to please somebody? Do I have the conscience to do the right thing? Am I doing things out of love or passion for that? So conscientiousness is important if we are recruiting someone. Suppose I recruit a secretary or a counselor for our counseling center, I would look for someone who has this particular trait of conscientiousness, because I need not be there to monitor that person. That person will do the work on her own or on his own. Sorry. Then we talk about extroversion, introversion. Some people are from childhood are extroverted, some people are introverted. Nothing is bad. We are all on a continuum. I may be, 40% extroverted, I may be 60% introverted. We are all growing because of our training, because of our contacts with people. We grow from introversion to extroversion. Some people learn from extroversion to be more introverted. You sit down and study. Parents will tell you, don't go out and meet your parents right now. This is the time to sit down and study. So they can learn more introversion, think about something personal, what is happening to somebody within. All these will be introversion, extroversion. Then we also talk about agreeableness. Are we pleasant to relate with? Are people finding comfort, consolation in meeting us? Or do they find that we are not agreeable, that we are not pleasant to work with? Okay. So this is about companionship, friendship, and so on. Then we also talk about neuroticism. The opposite would be emotional stability. People with mood swings, we will say they are not emotionally stable. There are other people who can be stable. We can talk to them anytime. All the time they are the same in mood. So it will be good to talk to. So personality traits will help us to understand who we are, why we are doing certain things in this way. Do we have positive visualization? Or do we have negative visualization? People who are sick, people who are depressed, people who find problems everywhere, people who are not comfortable in their environment, they may have negative visualization. So in counseling, we ask people to visualize positively. So positive visualization is also good for good mood, good feelings. We have a sense of hope and optimism. So positive visualization we do. Sometimes without our knowledge, we think positively, we imagine. This is connected with imagination, fantasy, and dreams. By the way, this is very important for all the counselors. All of us have biases and prejudices. Without having any prior experience, if I hold an opinion as true, as real, that means I have some bias. If I think negatively about somebody, even though I have no personal experience with that person, then I have a prejudice. Both are used often interchangeably, but we need to check what are my biases about, let us say, women. What are my biases about people from this particular state? What are my biases about people who come for counseling with depression? What are my biases about people who have, gender disorientation? I met one client some time back who is terribly scared of transgenders. I asked him, what makes you be terribly frightened of the transgender? I don't know. I have a fear that they will harm me. Are you afraid of tall people? No, I'm not afraid. Only transgenders, when I come to know that they are transgenders, then I am terribly scared. I run away from them, or I want to attack them, or I rudely talk to them. So, based on his behavior is based on some prejudice that all transgenders are bad or violent, he is reacting to to these people. Whenever we do research, we need to know what are our biases and prejudices, because our prejudice may spoil the result of our research. If I have prejudice, my counseling will be affected by my prejudice. My suggestions, advice, my confronting will be affected by my prejudice. I will have more misunderstandings if I have prejudice or bias. If people talk in one particular language, what is my feeling when I listen to somebody talking in another language? If I look at someone who is looking like a poor man, what are my biases and prejudices? Okay. So without knowing these, we cannot be good counselors. Do I have optimism? Do I have optimism about my own counseling? When you sit down to start the counseling process, do you have optimism? This will be connected with another important concept called unconditional positive regard. Do I feel optimistic about the client's future growth? The person will move on towards self-actualization. Or do I have bias and prejudice and then say, no, I'm going to waste my time in this counseling because this client will not cooperate with me. Or, I don't feel good about this particular person. So optimism is also an important concept in psychological mechanisms. Motivation. What is my motivation level? Am I feeling motivated to do counseling? Sometimes, some counselors say, oh my God, I have a counseling for this person today. Oh, it is going to be tough. What will be their motivation if they have this particular concept in mind? If their feelings or thoughts are negative, their motivation is affected. So what is your motivation to attend this class? What is your motivation to take up this course, in counseling psychology? What is your motivation to talk to someone? What is your motivation when you wake up? So check our motivation level for various activities that we do every day. Depending on your motivation, depending on your beliefs, you will have perseverance. Are you able to persevere, or do you stop? No, enough. I cannot proceed. This is very difficult for me. A few people who take up engineering, they don't persevere at the end of the first year. Why don't you persevere and continue your course so that you will be an engineer within 4 years? No, sir, I am struggling, so I give up. So we also give up certain practices, habits. There are people who will start with a habit. For example, let me do exercise like running or walking very fast every day for 45 minutes or 1 hour. They will do it for 1 hour every day. After a week, they will say, no, I am tired. My back is paining. My legs are paining. Let me start something else. They don't persevere even in which is good for them, in a behavior that is important for their own well-being. So they may give up. No motivation, no desire, their outcome is low, so they don't continue. They have no perseverance. What are your images of self subconsciously? We all have many images of self. Sometimes our images of self are positive, some are negative. I have mentioned this in my class somewhere. I met one principal of a college, very powerful woman. She was handling the lecturers, non-teaching staff, the whole college. So she had a lot of power over there. When I met her in counseling, she told me, I feel, if you are asking me about the image of myself, I will say, I am like a lamp on a mountain, but nobody comes near me. I am far away. They look up to me. They admire me, but they are afraid of me. Nobody comes close to me. So that was the reason she was feeling bad about herself. I don't have good friends. I have a lot of power. People are afraid of me. So the image of that person's self was that she was like a lamp on a mountain. People can see the light from distance, but nobody likes her or nobody is very close to her. We all have sometimes positive image or sometimes we have negative image. If you have already studied multimodal therapy, one of the 7 factors is image of self. Do we have achievement orientation? This can be understood in different ways. Not only when we do, even when we look at our life, do we feel like achieving in our life? So many people get stuck in some place, some stage, and some activity. There is no motivation to achieve. It is connected with perseverance. It is also connected with their desire to move on. Maintenance, connected with the stages of change. Do we maintain? Suppose we have developed good habits. Are we able to maintain, or do we give up, or do those habits go into something obsolete? Sense of self, connected with the images of self. Are we narcissistic or other oriented? Even counseling can be done in a narcissistic way. People can believe, I helped this person. I approached this person with this theory, with this technique. Everything starts with I. Even when a person gets well, that person wants to, we may like to get the credit. So we may often talk about ourselves in counseling. Self-revelation is important in counseling. We share about our activities, our experience. But if we are narcissistic, we'll be only talking about ourselves. Either directly or indirectly, we'll be giving glory to self. But there are people also other oriented. These are people, type 2 in Enneagram, people who are interested in helping other people. They are other oriented. They want to serve other people. Even leadership will be based on servant leadership. These are other oriented people. Their sense of self is other oriented. I am living for others. Almost, we are reaching the final concepts. That is self-concept. What is my self-concept? How do I understand? How do I operate? Some people will say we have many self-concepts, but also there is one unitary self-concept which will guide me wherever I go, whatever I do. All the psychological mechanisms that we have seen so far will guide me, will influence my self-concept. But sometimes my self-concept is not directed by any of these psychological mechanisms. Like, for example, I may have negative thoughts, I may have negative feelings and negative emotions. My perception may be negative towards me, but still my self-concept in certain area may be very positive. Okay. So self-concept is very important. Self-concept is a cognitive evaluation of self. We also talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem is a emotional evaluation of self. How do I, perceive self from an emotional point of view, and how do I feel about myself? That is self-esteem. But once again, self-concept and self-esteem are of two kinds. One global, another one specific. Global, in general, what kind of self-concept do I have in general, globally? In the same way, self-esteem, when I don't think of any specific mechanisms, how do I feel about myself? Then globally. Then specifically, let us say in the games field, I have good self-concept and good self-esteem. I am a good player, so I may feel good about myself. My concept of self is wonderful in the games field. But in the academics, maybe I may have a poor self-concept. So globally, I may have one. Specifically, in some area, in some talent, I may have good self-esteem and self-concept. Based on all these psychological mechanisms, and also separately, yesterday I told you we have our own individual culture, we have family culture, we have, group culture, we have state-wise, language-wise, we have certain cultures. Ethnically, we may develop. Based on all these psychological mechanisms and culture, we have some paradigm. Paradigm is a kind of a map that we follow without our knowledge. We may fall back whenever we analyze, but we have some paradigm. What is my paradigm for my life? What is my paradigm as a counselor? What is my paradigm as a family person? What is my paradigm as a teacher or as a counselor? All together, put everything together, then we have philosophy of human nature. Okay. But once again, this philosophy may not include all the psychological mechanisms, depending on what is important to me, both consciously and subconsciously. I will develop a kind of a philosophy of human nature. This will guide us in our personal life, also in our counseling practice. Suppose my philosophy of human nature is, saying that I am good, all the others are bad, that will influence my relationships with other people, including the counseling relationship that I have with my clients. So, very often we do not analyze the philosophy of human nature. We take it for granted. But as counselors or as budding counselors, if we can spend time to go through all these psychological mechanisms, take an important event and analyze one mechanism after another. For example, what was my perception of self, others, world, and God in this particular event? Let us say you are affected by some event negatively. You go back in your mind and analyze what was your perception. What were your beliefs about you, others, world, and God? How did you believe about that event? How do I perceive that event now? So, go through every mechanism one after another, and you will have wonderful self-knowledge about yourself. Normally, in such events, I have these beliefs. When I meet people, I have these biases and prejudices. Normally, when negative things happen, I attribute this way. I may attribute something negative to other people. They are responsible. They did this. They are the cause. Or sometimes I may attribute to myself. Like, for example, if a teacher attributes when one single person is sleeping in class, this afternoon, humid, hot, and one person is sleeping. If he has a negative attribution style, he may say, if I were a good lecturer, even this person would be awake and listen to me. So, if he attributes negatively to himself, then he will program himself to feel depressed or feel upset, or he would say, I am an inadequate person, I am not a good lecturer, because if I were a good lecturer, everybody will be awake and listen to me. Okay. During the corona time, when we had only online classes, we insisted everybody should turn on the video, but did not happen. People will turn on and move on. They will be busy with other activities. Suppose a negative attribution style person looks at the video and the person is not listening or doing something else, the lecturer will become, very upset or even feel depressed. Why I am saying something important, these people don't listen to me. So I am a bad teacher. Or if I attribute to other people, oh, these are not good students. They are not motivated students. These people are not worthy of my class. So, the philosophy of human nature is important, culture is important, paradigm is important. Every mechanism that I have mentioned in this, 3 slides are important. If we can go to spend time later on, spend time to analyze one by one in some important activity in your life, that will be wonderful. It will be a good learning for self. What are the counselor's values? We have already mentioned wonderful values indirectly. When we said who is a counselor, who is not a counselor, counseling is what, counseling is not, we have already mentioned some of the values. Counselors' values play a crucial role in the therapeutic process by creating a safe and trusting environment for the client to explore all the personal things that are happening to that particular person. Some of the values. Empathy. I already mentioned yesterday the difference between sympathy and empathy. Empathy is I feel as if I were the other person. I don't merge with the other person, but I feel as if I were the other person. I gave examples yesterday. I am not a woman, but I feel as if I were a woman in order to understand a woman. So empathy is a skill. Empathy is also a talent, given by God. We can develop. We can be, checking every now and then. Am I empathetic or am I growing in empathy? We have already talked about self-awareness. For self-awareness, I need to go through, all the psychological mechanisms periodically. I need to be mindful. I need to be aware what is happening to my mind, to my thoughts, feelings, my perception, my dreams, and so on and so forth. Then another value is non-judgmental attitude or value. Can we be non-judgmental? Is it possible at all? In my opinion, personal opinion, we judge all the time. Whenever we see somebody, we judge. Whenever we see something or whenever we hear something, whenever data comes in to our mind through our 5 senses, whenever we reflect on something, we make a judgment. But what is mentioned as non-judgmental attitude, we must develop an attitude not to be rash in our judgment, not to be quick in our judgment. So, non-judgmental is impossible. We do judge, otherwise we won't know the difference between 2 and 3. I judge it is only 2. I judge this one is 3. So I make a judgment. I make a judgment about the ambience. I make a judgment about the video. We do judge all the time because our mind is active, we are alive, so our mind will like to know what is what. That is judgment. But in counseling, the counselor should develop a kind of a non-judgmental attitude. That means not to be rushing in making a judgment, not to be rash in judgment. Another one, congruence, along with the empathy. Carl Rogers will mention this as an important element in person-centered therapy. Congruence means I am so honest, I reveal what is within me. I don't hide, I don't tell lies, I don't dissemble. So my feelings and my behavior should be congruent, should be the same. But this is very difficult in our culture. Why is it difficult? Especially Indian culture, we say one thing and mean another. Okay. For example, we say, good morning, sir, okay, to a person, but deep down that person may not like the teacher. May say, sir, we are missing you. You are not coming for classes these days. Sir, we want you to come to class. But deep down, that guy may tell himself, my God, luckily he is not coming to my class. Okay, this happens all the time. Even in families, people may say one thing and mean another. But counseling effectiveness will happen only if we are congruent. Because clients, even if they are seriously mentally ill, they can also perceive that we are not congruent, with our words and what is happening within us. People will recognize that I am thinking negatively about the person, but I am encouraging the person with words. Even a child will recognize if there is incongruence. Because there are people who say positively outside, but negatively think or feel deep down. So, congruence is important in counseling. Another value is flexibility. We cannot be very rigid in our counseling process. So, flexible according to the client needs, we need to be flexible and also creative. Another important thing is, we must be aware of transference and counter-transference. People who have studied psychoanalytic therapy by Freud, he talks about transference and counter-transference. A client may, show the feelings or reactions to the counselor, that is transference. A counselor may have counter-transference. Suppose I look at the client, I remember some client, that I have met earlier, and that person was not very good. I may transfer my feelings, my thoughts, my expectations onto the client. That will be counter-transference. Okay. So we must become aware. Often nobody will tell us, but what is happening within, we should know. Then trust and trustworthiness. Trust is an important value in counseling. I must be trustworthy. That means the client should trust me. That is trustworthy. Only then I can expect trusting relationship from the client. Again, we already mentioned respect. Respect is another important value we should develop. We should recognize whether we are really respectful or not. Once again, unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers will mention this. Yesterday we talked about it. That means I have some good feeling, good hope about the client's positive outcome of the counseling. Confidentiality, in ethics we will talk about it a little more. Cultural sensitivity. I told you yesterday, all of us have different cultures. I must be sensitive to the culture of the other person. And I must not impose my values onto the clients. Even though that person will profit by my values, I cannot impose. But we do influence our clients all the time. Even though some people will say we cannot, influence our clients with our values, we do indirectly, otherwise people may not change. Okay, even without my knowledge, I may influence people with my good values or my beliefs and so on. Without bias, I can influence people. That is also important. Sir, should I stop here?
Participants, yeah, it's a question level. Father can take up some questions from the participants. Mr. Mohan, our technician, kindly unmute the mics so that the
Okay,
participants have access.
Okay, sir. Done, sir. Done.
Yes, yeah. Are there some questions, participants? You can come up with your questions and clarifications. Yeah, Father, there are some questions in the chat box. Can you read that? I can read for you. Someone who has qualities of both introverts and extroverts is an ambivert. Is it correct, sir?
What is the question, sir?
Someone who has qualities of both introverts and extroverts
Okay.
is an ambivert. Is it correct?
How do I see the
Chat box, Father? Can you open the chat box? Chat box is at the bottom.
I don't get it. Okay. Introversion, extroversion. Nothing is bad or nothing is good. Both can be helpful. Both can be helpful. Sometimes we need extroversion, sometimes we need introversion. If I'm an introverted person, I can spend time on my own. I can reflect. I can analyze in my mind. I find strength in my mind, by understanding. But if I am extroverted, I can go and meet people. I can get things done. Okay. So both are important. Both are necessary. There are some people who are kind of both introversion and extroversion will be equal, somewhat. We cannot measure very well. But there are some people who can go out, meet people, do things, explore, be adventurous. And there are people who can sit quiet in their own house, reflect, understand in their mind. All these are possible. So we need both. Okay. Any other question?
So, there is one more question. You mentioned about negative attribution and other people type of attribution. Can you give an example of positive attribution?
Okay. Positive attribution to self. We often do. Whenever we want to boost our self-image, we do that. Let us say I am having a program, a cultural program. My students, both boys and girls, danced very well. We got the first prize. I may attribute the success of that program to myself. I only ask them to dance. I only coax them or convince them to join the counseling dancing team, and they won the prize. It's all because of me. I am attributing to myself positively. I may also attribute, something positive to other people. My students are excellent. They are highly talented. They did a wonderful job. The success of the dance was because of this particular person or this particular team. So I'm attributing the success to the people around. That is positive attribution. Let us say, for example, counseling. I can attribute to myself. I asked him a question and he could not escape. He told me, "Sir, you have understood." All because of me. I am attributing to my intelligence or insight. I may be even praising myself. But we do sometimes, if we want to increase the boost up our image, we do attribute to self. Or if we want to blame other people, we do negatively attribute to other people.
Would that be counted as overconfidence or narcissism?
Certain amount of confidence is important. Self-confidence is a good value for counselors. That will go with self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a belief about my capability. But narcissism is negative. Everything revolves around me. I am important. Okay. I am in the center of everything. That will be narcissism. People should address me. People should respect me. It may be normal. At the same time, it can be negative if it goes beyond a limit. Narcissistic person is a person who loves oneself. Okay.
Okay,
There is
there is,
another question.
yeah, go ahead.
How personality traits get refined by social learning? We all learn from other people. Social learning takes place not only as a child, but also later on. Okay, even as adults, we learn. So that modifies our personality, traits our personality. We, polish our personality. We, improve certain things. We cut corners in certain things. We do change to some extent. So social learning is very important, provided we take note of what we want to change and how to improve. Okay. Social learning will modify certain traits, but we must also cooperate and persevere in that.
Yes, Mr. Pradeep, yes, go ahead. Yeah. And I would appreciate, participants who are asking questions, you can come on the video and ask the questions so that we come to know more about each other.
Which one?
Yeah. We have one question from Mr. Pradeep. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Pradeep. Unmute your mic,
Pradeep, I
please.
don't hear you.
Unmute your mic.
Which one? Pradeep, I am not able to hear you at all.
Could you unmute your mic, please?
Sir, our unmute பண்ணிட்டாரு ஏதோ issue our side.
Okay, all right, sir. I think there is an issue from your side. Could you post the question, Mr. Pradeep, on the chat box? We are unable to hear you. Some issues from your side, yeah. Could you post your question, please?
I will answer another question by Kavita, yes.
Yeah.
How do we handle challenges that might bring out a negative attitude? To start with, become aware. Self-awareness is important to understand whether we have a negative attitude or not. Then, once you understand or become aware that you have a negative attitude, find out what is the right attitude first. Check with reality. Check with someone else. Then you will know, okay, I have a negative attitude towards this particular challenge. Then consult other people, how they do. Sometimes other people may guide you with their own habits, with their own thinking, they may guide you. Okay, that is how we will handle challenges that might bring out a negative attitude.
Thank you, Father, for your wonderful presentation today, the second day. I have some clarification for the participants. Participants who have asked for the recordings of the sessions and the PPTs. With regard to the PPTs, it will be posted in the WhatsApp group. I already posted yesterday's PPT from Dr. Emmanuel in today's WhatsApp group. And technicians, Mr. Mohan and Party, they are working out to post the recordings in the YouTube channel that we have launched yesterday. So tomorrow we will be giving you the link for our YouTube channel and listed link, and you can access to the recordings of the sessions. That's all I have to say. So
One more question somebody has asked, but already Santosh Kumar has answered that question. Is it
Right, yeah.
possible to be completely non-judgmental? No, it is not possible. When our mind is active, when we are alive, we do judge. So we do make a judgment all the time, but we should not be rash in our judgment.
Also, yeah, go ahead.
Samapita Roy.
All the participants, yeah, some 10 of you have not joined the WhatsApp group, so kindly join the WhatsApp group. Because from tomorrow onwards, all the messages will be posted only in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. So, ma'am, you want to ask a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I just wanted to ask you the assignment that was posted today.
Yes,
On
yeah.
on which number should we send it back? I mean, we need to
No,
fill
you
it up
don't have
and then.
to. You don't have to send it back to us. This is an activity that's meant for your personal use.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
yeah.
May I ask, sir, just a doubt,
Yes.
it's not
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Samapita
now
Roy.
it's clear. Yeah.
clear. Okay, sir, for good evening. So this is not a question, just a doubt I have always towards psychology and counseling, especially with the mechanisms that whatever you have shared us with today. See, all these focus on the negatives of a person's life. As you said, no human can be without being non-judgmental. It will be within. So also with regard to all the emotions, attributes, attitude, whatever we talk about, there will be some limitations to human persons as a counselors. So we cannot be all the time completely positive, completely good at everything.
True. What you're saying is right.
So in what way we focus more on negativity than the positivity? Is it to grow from the negative values that we have gained so far or something else?
Okay. We have to become aware of what is happening within. See, we are not even aware of all the psychological mechanisms. We are not even aware of certain thoughts. Thoughts are normally conscious. We are not even aware of them. We are not aware even of our feelings.
You're right.
The psychological mechanism should help you to grow in all these day by day. When you have an event, analyze that event based on all the psychological mechanisms. We are judgmental. We have negative feelings. We have negative, thoughts. We have bias and prejudice. Sometimes we are not even aware these are prejudices. We may think we are right.
Yeah.
So more and more self-awareness, more and more effort to become positive would be important.
Good.
Otherwise, we are not, we are not even like a computer. Even in a
Sure.
computer, you can delete, but you can also trace back, what you wrote, what you typed. So in the same way, we cannot delete everything, but we are expected to become better in our self-awareness and become more positive.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Father. Thank you very much, Father, and thank you, participants. So have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you, one and all. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. Yeah.